It's the Fort Hays State University Coaches Show on Eagle Community Television, brought to you by Eagle Communications.
Hello once again and welcome to another edition of Tiger Talk. This is Gerard Welbrock, be joined momentarily by head women's coach Tony Hobson and head men's coach Mark Johnson. Not a whole lot to talk about since the last time we were on the program. The finals week at Fort Hays State. The Tiger men picked up a win last Monday, knocking off Northwestern Oklahoma State. The Lady Tigers in action Sunday afternoon got a big win over Missouri Valley College. Tune-ups on Tuesday as the ladies host Kansas Wesleyan. The men take on Bethany. Then it's back to MIAA play Saturday as the Tigers travel to Maryville, Missouri for key games with Northwest Missouri State. Program brought to you once again by Whiskey Creek Wood Fire Grill at 3203 Vine in Hays, where the fire's always burning. We'll take a break. When we come back, head women's coach Tony Hobson joins us as we continue right here on Tiger Talk.
Hi, I'm Gerard Welbrock, voice of the Fort Hays State Tigers, inviting you to join me for Tiger Talk. Airs Monday nights from 6 until 6:30 on Tiger Radio Mix 103, and then the video replay on Eagle Cable Channel 14 on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. We'll talk Fort Hays State football with head coach Chris Brown, preview the last game, and look ahead to the next week's action on Tiger Talk. Monday nights, 6 till 6:30 on Tiger Radio Mix 103 and on Eagle Cable Channel 14.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk. Gerard Welbrock and head women's coach Tony Hobson. Program brought to you once again by Whiskey Creek Wood Fire Grill, 3203 Vine in Hays. Check out their catering service. Some great menu items to choose from at Whiskey Creek Wood Fire Grill, where the fire's always burning. Coach, kind of an interesting week, I guess, for your squad. Finals, didn't have any games, 8-day layoff until the big win over Missouri Valley on Sunday. Let's just start with how you handle that when you have a situation with finals week. Obviously, school is important. That's always a stressful time for players, but yet you still want to get better and how to prepare for a basketball game.
Well, it's about the first time in several weeks that we've had a chance to really work on something during practice where we didn't have either a game we just came off of, so we needed to rest, or a game we were preparing for. So we actually had two good practices during the week where we could really, extend ourselves and go a little longer and do a lot of live things where we generally would not do that this time of year. We also took a couple days off. So the main thing we try to do is, first of all, let's deal with the stress of taking finals and get those done and try to do the best we can on those. And then we try to rest up, and then we try to really break down a few things in practice. So I thought we got all of those things accomplished. And the thing that bothers me about having tough practices once the season starts is, you don't want to get a kid hurt or whatever, but I've quit worrying about that as much as I used to, because I've had kids getting hurt stepping down off of a curb, walking across the street. So the way I figured, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So it can happen in a non-conference game, and people might say, wow, why were you playing that person? And it can happen in practice, and our whole deal is we need to get better, and you just hope that it works out and you're fortunate and you get through things injury-free.
Kind of touched on it in our program last week. Really the first opportunity you've had to have practices where you're not preparing for an opponent, had some time to work on some things, because it's been kind of pedal to the metal since the regular season started. As you take that time to evaluate and look at your team, what are some of those areas you feel that you have to get better at as you get ready for the grind of conference play here right after the first of the year?
Well, one thing I'm not completely happy with right now, and I think we need to improve, is our rebounding. I mean, we've got Kate, who takes up a lot of space in there and rebounds very well. But when she's not in the game, sometimes we struggle getting the ball off the boards. So we've worked on that a little bit and tried to. I guess all you can do there is just stress it and make sure that people extend their energy rebounding the ball as much as they do, like running the fast break and looking for their shots and things like that. So part of it is just awareness. The other thing is perimeter defense. I think we need to improve on. So we worked a lot on that in practice, and I think it's one of those things that just, if it does not evolve during the season, you're going to be in trouble when conference tournament comes around, and you just have to. That's something that we should be better at next week than we are now, and the following week we should improve, and it's just one of those things you just have to keep building on.
One area you have improved on is free throw shooting. Was there a concerted effort with this squad? Because you've had some players who weren't terrible free throw shooters, maybe adequate, have really become pretty good so far this season.
Well, and the one you notice right away is Kate, and that's the important one because she shoots so many of them. She gets fouled continuously, and a lot of them get called. Some of them don't, and that's how it always is going to be. But she's raised hers about 10%. We try to have our kids shoot 500 a week outside of practice. We chart them. We keep track of how many they make, and they write it down. And I think any time that you keep track of things, it's similar to if you're on a diet and you keep track of what you eat. You usually eat better things and fewer things, just because sometimes you don't realize what you're doing until you write it down. And I think actually having a record of it so they can go back and see if they're improving and seeing how many they've shot, and I think that helps. Again, I think the way you build confidence is you just get repetition, and you have to pay a little bit of a price, and so I think that's all it is just confidence. They feel like they can make them because they've shot a lot of them, and it's helping out.
Well, the Tigers back in action Sunday afternoon. Missouri Valley College came to the Coliseum. First ever meeting between the two programs, and you got off to an 8-0 start. Never trailed. I think 5 is the closest they were the entire game. And obviously you were the better team. But we talked before we went on the air here today. One of the things your team has done in these games against the NAI opponents, where if you play your game, you should win, you've played well, and that's been pretty impressive. It hasn't been a sloppy game. You've come out with the same focus and energy that you would most any other game.
Well, when you have only 8 turnovers in a game like that, I think that's kind of telling. And really, we play 8 kids a lot in our rotation. But when we go down to our 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and on, it kind of just tells you how good those players are. Because when they come in the game, it doesn't slide that much. They take care of the ball. They run our offense. It isn't like just junk time. And they're really using that time to try to improve. And that's how you grow your team from playing 8 people to maybe 9 or 10 is a couple kids get in there and really show that they can play, and then you kind of get a little confidence in them, and they get better, and that's how you grow some depth. But I think it's kind of a testament to how good a lot of our players are that aren't playing a lot in some of the other games.
Tigers win that one 94-44 on Sunday, get set for Kansas Wesleyan on Tuesday, and then MIAA play returns Saturday, final game before Christmas at Northwest Missouri State. We'll talk about all of that and more when we return to Tiger Talk with head coach Tony Hobson, and we'll do it right after this. Welcome back to Tiger Talk. Gerard Walbrock, head women's coach Tony Hobson. The program brought to you by Whiskey Creek Wood Fire Grill, 3203 Vine, where the fire's always burning. Great appetizers, some new ones on the menu, so check them out next time you're at Whiskey Creek Wood Fire Grill. One more on the game Sunday against Missouri Valley College. 2 double-doubles, one for Kate Lehman, which is nothing new, but Ellie Stein got double-figure scoring for you and also double-figure rebounding. Good to see her play well. I mean, she plays really hard in battles well, but you had a chance to maybe score a little bit more on Sunday.
Well, and she made some of those opportunities for herself because I know she had at least 2 offensive rebound putbacks there early in the game. And, Ellie, you'd like to see a kid be rewarded for just, basically her blue-collar work for us, rebound and set screens and defend and take charges. She's already taken probably more charges this year than any individual we had for the whole year last year. So, yesterday she had a little more of an opportunity to get on the board point-wise, and she did a good job of blocking off and rebounding. So, like I said, she's probably as good a backup post player as you can find, and would start for a lot of teams. So we're fortunate to have her.
Chelsea Mason, 16 points, and she's hitting about the same amount of threes, but taking less shots. She's become much more efficient this year.
Well, especially the last couple games. Missouri Western, I think she was 7 or 8 for 14, and yesterday she was 7 for 12. You know, there was a time it took her 18 or 20 shots to make 7. So I think, first of all, her shot selection is better, and she's making as many shots. She's just she's not having to take some of those at the end of the clocks that she can always get a shot up. So that's kind of the place we go. And sometimes shooting percentages are hurt by that, but we need to get a shot up, and she's the one to do that. But she's playing at a high level right now, playing with a lot of energy. Her defense has improved, and just really happy that we have somebody like that is playing at such a high level, but also is not affected by coming off the bench. Not one time has she said, "Hey, how come I'm not starting?" She trusts that what we're having her do is best for the team, and when you have a kid that's your second leading scorer that has no issue with coming off the bench, I mean, it really gives us a boost. It's almost like the game goes along for a while, and then you bring her in and they don't realize she's out there. She's already got 3 baskets on them. So it's a good rotation for us to have.
All right, real quick, Kansas Wesleyan, next to last non-conference game, 8-3, and boy, they shoot it well. Won't be an easy one. It's maybe of the NAIs you played this year, the toughest challenge you'll face.
Well, I think they will be as good as Tabor, or maybe a little better, and they put us to shame when putting up 3-pointers. I think they've averaged 25 or 6 a game taken. So I think they have 2 kids that shoot over 40%, a couple others that are high 30s. So it will be they will spread us out, try to drive it and kick it and take 3. So our perimeter defense will be tested tomorrow night.
And then obviously Saturday, an important game on the road, Northwest Missouri State, final game before a little break for Christmas, but another MIAA game, and boy, they're all big after the very big start you had at home.
Going to be a tough game there. I mean, it's always a difficult place to play, and it'll be our first conference road game. So it's an important one for us to win going into an 8-day break, just for our mental well-being. So we're looking forward to it, and it'll be a good road test. But I think since we've been on the road a few times, you know, Minnesota, Newman, shouldn't be as big of a shock as it could be.
Should be a lot of fun. Big week of basketball, and then a little break for the Lady Tigers before they reassemble before New Year's and get set for the grind of MIAA play. Coach, as always, we appreciate the time, and we'll see you at the Coliseum and then Maryville, Missouri this week.
Okay, thanks, Gerard.
That is head coach Tony Hobson of the Lady Tigers. They've won 7 straight and now 8-1 on the year. Again, Tuesday, 5:30, Kansas Wesleyan, and then a 1:30 tip Saturday afternoon from Maryville, Missouri against Northwest Missouri State. We will take another break. When we return, we'll talk some men's basketball as head coach Mark Johnson joins us right after this break, right here on Tiger Talk. Welcome back to Tiger Talk. Gerard Walbrock joined now by head men's basketball coach Mark Johnson. The program brought to you once again by Whiskey Creek Wood Fire Grill, 3203 Vine and Hayes, where the fire's always burning. It's been an interesting week, I guess, since we talked to you last on the program. You haven't played a game, beat Northwestern Oklahoma State last Monday. Finals week, some practice time. I guess, how do you handle finals week? Because obviously that's stressful for the kids, but also a time of the year where you get on the floor and try to get better.
Yeah, I mean, you got to still practice. Like I said, without having games, you can work on some things. I think what we try to do is just shorten what we're doing. I mean, still have the same intensity and focus, but maybe instead of going an hour and 45 minutes, something like that, you might just go an hour to a little over an hour. So you're just trying to condense a little bit your time frame, but still trying to get better. You know, we talk all the time. It's an old cliche, but I mean, you're either getting better, you're getting worse. You never stay the same, and we want to still make sure we're trying to get better through, even though it's finals week.
You know, you've had basically, once the season started, you've had games, and you're preparing every week for an opponent. A little bit of time to maybe reflect on yourself now and try to improve on some things. As you look at your squad through the first 9 or so games, what areas do you feel you've done well, maybe exceeded what you thought, and where do you have to get better?
Yeah, I think we got to get better defensively. I think we're just out of position too many times, and we've really just drilled ourselves the things we have to do. I think we've gotten away a little bit from worrying about the other team right now. We got to worry about ourselves and make sure we're doing what needs to be done on the defensive end and assignment responsibilities, things like that. And I think that's what we've really spent this week trying to do. I think some things we've done offensively. I think after the opening weekend, we're starting to play better. Guys are shooting the ball well. James Fleming now has come around. He's got his percentages up. Royce has his percentages up. Achoke's really been shooting it all well all year. I think Dom has found an opportunity to stay out of foul trouble. We've been able to get him the ball in certain spots now. So, better than we did early in the year. So I think that offensively we've gotten better. We're still not good enough. No one's good enough right now in December. We got to keep striving to improve. But I think we're kind of finding our roles on what we do effectively for our team, and we just got to shore up the other end a little bit better.
You mentioned Dom staying out of foul trouble. The games he's been very effective. What's he doing different to I guess, avoid that and being on the floor more?
Well, I think one, he's aware of it. He's figuring out, hey, I get some fouls, I got to go sit down. So, I think that's one, he's aware of it. Two, I think anytime you're out of position, it puts you in a vulnerable spot. You end up fouling a lot because you're out of position. I think he's learning our defense a little bit more. He's putting himself in proper positions. Like I said, when you're in proper positions, you usually don't get the whistles as much. So, and sometimes it's just when you're a big guy out there, you're at the mercy of what they call. So sometimes it's just a luck of what the no calls and the calls they make. But I think he's getting better. He's getting in better position.
Yeah, sometimes, unfortunately, even at this level, you're penalized for being a big guy, and Dom has certainly felt that. One player who's really kind of emerged here lately especially is Jake Stoppel. He's had back-to-back really good games, and it's been really fun to watch him evolve and become a pretty good player for you, especially just working hard and doing some of those little things.
Yeah, he's really played well. He's made a big difference in our team when that 4 position plays like he's been playing lately. That makes us that much better. I think the thing we need to just keep harping on is when you play that hard and you're competing at that high of a level of intensity and focus and things, your offense, you're going to score more points. I don't think he's done anything necessarily to try to go score more. He's just competing and being real physical and tough and playing with a lot of energy. And when you do that, good things happen for you. And hopefully he can continue because he really has made a difference in our team.
We've talked a lot about Craig, obviously, and his role and how the stats are probably going to change for him as his team evolves. And it seems like he's finding that happy balance of knowing when he needs to score and take over in that regard in games where he doesn't and maybe distribute more.
Yeah, you're not always the best team and he goes gets to 20. I think he doesn't need to shy away from that. There's moments we need him to do that. And for instance, up for Iowa, he had to carry us on his back scoring-wise. I think as these other guys are getting more comfortable, Achoke and James and those guys, like I said, Royce, they can really shoot the basketball. What Craig can do for them is give them their opportunities. So a lot of games, he only scores 14, 15 a game, but has his 8 or 9 assists. That's probably when we're really playing well. So I think he's doing a better job as the season's gone on also of having trust in those guys and finding those guys more often.
6-3 Tigers get a non-conference tune-up on Tuesday, taking on Bethany, and then back to MIAA, play a big road game before Christmas on Saturday at Northwest Missouri State. We'll talk about it when we return. Our last segment of Tiger Talk coming up right after this. Welcome back to Tiger Talk, our final segment of the program with head men's coach Mark Johnson as Fort Hays State gets set to take on Bethany Tuesday and then Northwest Missouri State on the road in a key MIAA game on Saturday. And you take on a Bethany team, they're 8-3, and boy, you look at their numbers. This is a scary opponent for a non-conference NAI Division II school. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I would say, this Bethany team has the potential to be as talented as any of the NAI teams we've played in my time here. They could be a challenging matchup. They're not deep. They only play about 6 guys, but 4 of those 6 are just all 6'4", 6'5", athletic guys that can drive the ball, shoot the ball. So we'll be, some of our big guys are going to have a hard time keeping them in front of them and contesting them. Hopefully at the other end we can take advantage of our size. But, yeah, they're looking to play up and down, a high-scoring game. This is one, like I've told you guys, you better respect your opponent and understand that I'm not so sure they're not more talented than Northwest Oklahoma, the team we just played last Monday, a Division II team. So we need to play well, and hopefully we're excited to play because we haven't played for 8 days. We've had a lot of games in a row, and then we had a little layoff. Hopefully our guys are fired up to go play, and hopefully we play well leading into that Northwest Missouri game.
Are they similar to maybe an Upper Iowa type team, just in the fact that they weren't overly big, but just a lot of guards who shoot it well?
Yeah, I think these guys probably at times have a little more athleticism. Upper Iowa probably has more guys who can consistently shoot the ball. But, yeah, a similar approach, very, like I said, 6'4", 6'5" guys that can score inside and out. And, like I said, offensively they put up very big numbers. So we need to slow them down And then if we run good offense, hopefully we'll be able to score right back at them.
And then, as you said, a big one Saturday in Maryville, Northwest Missouri State. They've been at or near the top of the conference for quite a few years. Deshaun Cooper's no longer there. They've lost some key players, but yet they still have some guys back who've been a part of that success, and it's always difficult to beat them on their home floor.
Yeah, I mean, they're hard to beat, especially on their home floor. It's a tough place to play at times, just a different kind of setup they have in that arena, and they're a good team. You know, the Schneider kid's a big guy that really shoots a lot of threes. He can be a matchup problem. Their point guard, you know, he's only a redshirt freshman right now, so he's obviously not Deshaun Cooper, but I think he's much better than anybody anticipated. He's a very good player, and they have some other guys, Kozad, Croker, and those guys that have been in the program. So really a team that's going to guard you well, take good shots, be solid in what they do, and we just need to make sure when we go to their place that we're doing those type of things too.
And you face a team like that, I mean, they know how to win. They've been around success for so many years, even though they've kind of handed the baton off. Those guys have learned.
Yeah, you know, all those guys have been playing in the program. They've done a nice job of getting some good four-year players. So they're guys that have maybe had smaller roles early on, but it got the experience, played in big games last year. You know, they're in the regional finals and things like that. And a lot of these guys played in that regional final. So it'll be a challenge. You know, like I said, I think whether it be our early non-conference schedule with the teams we played, and then our early conference schedule between playing Central Missouri and Northwest Missouri, we're playing some of the better teams right out of the gates here first semester.
Should be very interesting. Coach, as always, we appreciate the time. We'll see you Tuesday and then Saturday in Maryville.
All right, thank you.
That is head coach Mark Johnson. Again, Fort Hays State in Bethany. 7:30 for the men. The women will tip it off at 5:30 against Kansas Wesleyan. And then it's a 1:30, 3:30 doubleheader in Maryville on Saturday afternoon as the Tigers take on Northwest Missouri State. 1:10 with the Auto World pregame show on Tiger Radio Mix 103. One programming note, our final show for a while. We'll take a little bit of break for the Christmas as the teams break away for a while. We'll be back at it after the first of the year in January to talk some Fort Hays State Tiger basketball. The program, as always, brought to you by the Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, also by the Taco Shop, G&L Tire and Automotive, Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, Adams Brown, Barron and Ball, Couture for Men and Women, James Motor Company, BTI, and of course Whiskey Creek Wood Fire Grill, 3203 Vine and Hayes, where the fire's always burning. For women's coach Tony Hobson, men's coach Mark Johnson, this is Gerard Walbrock saying so long for Tiger Talk.
It's the Fort Hays State University Coaches Show on Eagle Community Television, brought to you by Eagle Communications.